is a pretty big award here at Shack News. It's called the Do
Yeah.
It for Shack News Award. And, you know, that's kind of a nebulous thing, doing it for Shack News. But we have assembled a very long list of nominees. I'm just going to go through it, and then we'll talk about it, okay? We don't need to... Let's just get our nominees out, and then we'll fight. We're bringing back 3 of our Do It for Shack News Award winners. Panic Button, Iron Galaxy, and Mark Rebier. Adding to our list of nominees, we have Fizzy36, the creator of Slippy, the mod for Dolphin Melee. We have Romsteady, just glorious benefactor of Shack News. Mercury Ludicrous sub. Just has made it rain bits in our Twitch chat so many times this year. Has gifted so many subs this year. Martin Goldstein, the co-founder of Shack News, who made a special appearance during the Shack News Direct. I can't think of how you could do it for Shack News more than that. The entire Shack News stimulus games. Everyone who's competed in it, everyone who's helped stream it, anyone who's donated things to it, time, all of our winners, all of you. Our staff is another nominee. You know, we literally do it for Shack News every day. We're adding Tripwire Interactive. You know, we had some awesome streams with them this year with Maneater or the Killing Floor 2 streams that we did. We also had a pretty special stream during E4 with Ice-T. So we're nominating Ice-T for the Do It for Shack News Award. Also, Mike Tyson. I don't know if you saw. I interviewed Mike Tyson this year for Shack News. And he met Lola. We're also nominating Obsidian for Grounded. And also the lead director of the game, Jabby, Adam Brennicky. They did it for Shack News this year. We're also nominating Rocket League for going free to play and what I call the great rocketing of 2020, which is it's taken that game and just it was already on fire. Right? That game already had a lot of players, but going free to play has changed it entirely. You can log on at the middle of the night, any day of the week, and there's 500,000 people playing that game. That's unbelievable. It's just really a sight to see. Also on this, also making our list is V1 Interactive for trying to do something cool with Disintegration. Like, you know, you don't always, you know, you're not always a success, but you still are doing it for Shack News, and I think that V1 did it for Shack News this year. And then 2 individuals. I guess we'll split them up. One, this guy, he's very good at video games. Disco Rhine, who had competed at the Great Quick Holio tournaments of the past, but came back this year with a vengeance to just demolish everyone else in the field. It was a clinic. And he is the 3rd Great Quick Holio champion.
And he wasn't even done demolishing after that, Asif.
Oh, I know. He came back and he won. He's the only person to win 2 Simulus Games tournaments in 2 different games. Came back and just destroyed everyone at Rocket League with a keyboard and mouse.
Not only that, in 3v1.
Yeah.
He kicked our asses collectively. You, Asif, me, and TJ, all at the same time with no help. And we're no slouches at Rocket League.
Well, we're not Disco Ryan.
I've never seen a person that plays with a keyboard and mouse on Rocket League better than anyone else playing on supposedly the superior controller. Like, he made a keyboard and mouse look like the efficient way to play.
We're getting through the nominees before we make it.
Yes. And then, last but not least, I know someone else added a cat to this list, but I'm not going to say it. Last but not least, he hosts a show on our Twitch stream called Skankcore 64. He beat Quest 64 live on stream. He's reviewed F-Zero X on Cortex. We're talking about Skankcore, our last nominee for the Do It for Shaq News Award. So that's everybody that we have on the list. I'm sure we left somebody off, but there can only be one winner of the Do It for Shaq News Award. So let's get at it. Does anyone want to make a case?
Yeah, I'll start off.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Josh.
I'll start off. I think we got a lot of great people on here. I love Mark. Having Ice-T on the show was great. Watching the stuff with Disco Ryan was fantastic. But I think that, like, if there's anyone on this list, like, that just embodies this award perfectly, like, big props to Romsteady for supporting the community and supporting the website. Greatly appreciate that, dude. But, like, I can't think of anyone that has given more time to this website that doesn't get, that isn't on staff than Skankcore. Like, dude has given up so much of his time. He's given up so much of his life, like, in this past year, and even before that, to support Shaq News, like, to always be there, like, in the comments, encouraging us and, like, supporting us and just pushing us through. And yeah, I mean, that's my nomination. Like, dude has been killing it. He is honestly, like, if I had to think of one person that's probably the staff's biggest fan, it's Skankcore. Like, he just, he's just great. He's fantastic. His support throughout the year, everyone's support has meant a lot, but Skankcore, I've always felt like the guy has my back. And, that's just great. That's great to have from someone in the community.
Josh took the words right out of my mouth. I've known
Same
Skankcore.
thing here too.
I've known Skankcore for years. He's a good dude. He actually commiserated with me because I also beat Quest 64 back when I was a kid, because there was a fantasy drought on N64 until Ocarina of Time came out, so you made do with fucking Brian and his Quest 64. Yeah, that dude, he's positive. He's so involved in the community. I just think he kind of personifies the spirit of Do It for Shaq News.
The dude played through Quest 64 start to finish. That's really doing it for
Yeah.
for
I
Shaq
think
News.
that's
Good
a
lord.
Itself.
I
You know what I
voted for
think
him
is
to
really
play
cool?
that as a joke because I knew that game
Yep.
was going to be so ridiculously a slog. But, like, he did it. He didn't.
Super same.
He didn't peter out. He actually took it all the way to the end.
Oh no, I'm the same way, TJ. I saw that Twitter poll go up, and I was like, Quest 64, and then I logged in on Shaq News. I was like, Quest 64. I was like, it was just, I wanted to see that stream so bad, and I loved those streams because that game is so painful, but
It's soul sucking.
Oh, it's awful.
Also,
he's a really funny, charming streamer, and those streams became really fun. And he has built a community within our community that watches those Skankcore 64 streams. And I've fallen off this year from streaming because I've had to go on leave. He's been like one of our late night streamers, and just him filling in that spot has just meant a lot to me. So I agree with that nomination for sure.
What's really cool to me is that I didn't discuss this with any of you, and I was thinking that myself for all those reasons, but I was looking at it like he is literally creating, and some people may not know this, it's not just live streaming. He is literally creating content for Shaq News that he doesn't have to create. So he's live streaming with, like, taking the initiative and producing high quality content that he doesn't need to. He's doing it because he loves Shaq News. Aside from that, people may not know, like, in the last few weeks or maybe a month, like, Skankcore has come to us with, like, also editorial pitches and actually has an article published on shacknews.com. I know that Cortex testing, Asif, like, was he not one of the main people, like, once you...
He was the first
folks?
alpha tester.
Yeah, and everything I do at Shaq News, you can see Skankcore. If you have a stream, it doesn't matter when you have that stream, he's probably going to pop in and at least say hello to you. If you post something on Twitter, he is going to come in and he's either going to like it or he's everywhere. It's not like he is just a streamer or he is everywhere. And I can't ever think of a time when I've had a negative interaction or even something that could be like anything less than just positive with the guy. Like, every interaction I've ever had with him has been positive and has left me being like, man, what a cool guy. Yeah, it's kind of cool that everybody else has their own reasons and what, but neat that we all have the same mindset.
Yep. You can always bet on Brian to be there. Like if in anything Shaq News, you can always bet on him. Like he is reliable, generous, kind. It's always a pleasure having him in the chats. It's always cool having his commentary. Like when I do Indulicious and I see him in there, it's it's always cool. Like, and a lot of people, we have a lot of cool Shackers that show up for all of our streams, and I can't thank them all enough. Like I appreciate anyone who shows up.
He created content for us and then thanked us.
Yeah,
And
I think I'd like to say that like before 2020, I'd known of Skankcore, but I feel like this year I've really come to know him, and he's just, as I wrote in one of the stream shells that I'm more than happy to do for him, he's just eternally affable. Like, he's just a great guy. He's a top bloke. Like, yeah, he's an excellent, yeah.
And a
inside
long
and outside the
time
job,
member of the community. You know, he's on Cortex. You can look up people's registration date. He's been on the site since 2005. This is a Shacker who's been with us through thick and thin.
That's the same year I joined. That's how far back I know him, I guess. Yeah.
So he was in this community like 8 years before I even got into the business. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Skankcore's been around as long as I can remember. Like, from the first time like I started writing for Shaq News, I can remember seeing his name places, you know. And he's always had that positive, like, good-natured, encouraging rapport. Like, he's not someone that you've ever like looked at anything that he puts on Chatty or anything like that and thought, God, I would never want to talk to that guy. You know, it's just something about him that pulls you in, and he's always there and he's always encouraging. I know back when I was streaming and stuff, and he was always there. Like, middle of the day, my stream was happening in the middle of the day. Guy was always there, like talking in chat, talking to me, like making me feel like, you know, someone wanted me there. And like, that means a lot when you're the center of attention like that. Like, that interaction does a lot for you.
Oh,
you
God.
know?
It means the world having just that one positive person in Twitch
Yeah.
chat that all the
Yes, it
lurkers
does.
then see, and it gets them to start communicating, you know? And like, he's a great channel mod. Like, yeah, he's done. I agree.
And so, like, when I look at the rest of this list, and nothing against any of our other nominations, but there was something to be gained, or we went to them, or they did something that was just nebulous of Shaq News, but happened to benefit Shaq News that we very much enjoyed. Nothing against any of them. I love all these things on our list. But Skankcore is a genuine dude with not necessarily much, that isn't here with anything to gain, that just genuinely puts in his time and passion. And that, to me, is like the embodiment of doing it for Shaq News.
Yeah, he's just here to support the website that he loves.
I think what's really cool is like he turned around, like we do Bizarro Wolverines stimulus games sometimes when we want to give Blake and TJ and Bill a break, right? And I'll stream a Bizarro Wolverines game. It's an NCAA 13 Dynasty. He won something like $400 in gift cards one night, and he turned around and he bought all this stuff for his stream, and like. He had pitched me the next week about Skankcore 64. Like, to take it, I've been doing giveaways for a really long time. I don't see that kind of behavior very often, where you take something and then you immediately turn around to give it back to the community. I think that's what embodies doing it for Shaq News, and I think that's why he's a perfect nominee for this. It
Yeah, you
seems
don't
like a
see it.
moot point, but should we be voting at this point?
I want to take a minute to shout out the stimulus games, if I could, if you don't mind. Like, I feel like we're all gonna vote for Skankcore here, but I don't know. The stimulus games has felt like one of the most important things I've been participating in over the pandemic.
Sure, for sure.
And there's been a lot of people involved, and it's been great to kind of build these like communities up and give people the support that they need. So I just wanted to take a minute to shout out like the AV team we've been working with, like all the nerdcore rappers. Like Skankcore is part of that too, you know.
Yeah.
Like that son of a bitch gets every single fucking trivia question.
He's really damn good. He actually had an off weekend last weekend. But yeah, like he's played the game ever since I started the Bizarre Wolverines. I think that was probably 2015 that I started streaming it for Shaq News. Like he's been in the chat. He's been playing the game, so he knows the meta. He knows when the stream starts. The dude has Cleveland Browns trivia open. He has the Michigan Wolverines schedule open. Like already. Like the dude's in my head. Like there's times where I ask a question, I'm like, there's no way anyone's gonna get this. And he has the answer.
You asked a question a couple, I think it was 2 Bizarre Wolverine streams ago, about who wrote Evening Reading.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was really unique because obviously I knew because I assigned it to the person, but Sam had been doing them, right? And then Sam had asked for a break. And we had Josh do it. And Skankcore instantly knew that Josh did it. He would not have had time to look this up.
Yeah.
He instantly knew that Josh did it, which to me went, he's reading it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like he's looking it up, but he's like, that was just like, he instantly knew that like someone who doesn't typically do evening reading, he didn't guess somebody that is usually doing it or somebody that historically does it. He knew that last night Josh wrote it because he read it last night. It just stood out as being really cool.
Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah, the stimulus games have been awesome. They were founded as part of a pivot that we had to do this year away from live events towards something else, and they became something bigger and like a force for good and a force for positivity and a financial help for so many people. Disco Ryan like walked away with $6,000.
Yeah.
Skizzle walked away with $3,000. You know, like Tom W walking away with, you know, and then like the shit that we saw where Tom W took some of his money and he bought a trophy. You know, like the meta that we've seen where people like really do value winning a Shaq News video game competition, and that we've been able to continue this and like have to look at so many different things, like games that support crossplay, games that are free to play, games that everyone has, you know, and like the little challenges of that, or doing something as wacky as everyone on the AV team having to 1v1 me in Tecmo. Like, you just don't see stuff like that in other esports leagues, and I think we have something really special there at the Stimulus Games. I definitely agree that it needs to be acknowledged, especially in this category.
Yeah,
I wanted, if I could say something about Stimulus Games as well, because I think that's very important to note. You know, everything that Ops is saying is true, but Stimulus Games is also like a representation of like, it's not just the exact thing of Stimulus Games, but it's almost, it represents how it's made it easier to cope with 2020. And the Stimulus Games represents Shaq News, like the health of Shaq News. Like, we don't ever want to see sites close and people lose their jobs. But I can tell you this, I haven't worried about losing my job a single time this year. Like, just haven't, it's never crossed my mind. Who can say that? And like, that's kind of like that's kind of like, I think Stimulus Games helps to embody that not only does everyone still have their job, but like the Stimulus Games is a way to like reach out and like help people along that may be having a harder time. So like you mentioned the Nerdcore group, and we mentioned the community, and we mentioned like the AV team and the staff. Like, everyone on this call has benefited from it 100%. And I also want to recognize, like, I know Asif, before you went on leave, you were doing it every weekend with Blake. Recognize TJ, because TJ has stepped in and hosted when, you know, I'm like, well, I'd really like to take the weekend off, and he's like, yep, got you. But also Blake, like, just the last couple months sitting and talking with this guy about Stimulus Games, like, he's had every opportunity to be like, you know what, like, I don't really want to do it this weekend, and I don't think anybody would ever blame him. and he just refuses. No, he wants to do it because it's a thing that is positive, and I just think like when you package all that up inside the stimulus games, like, you know, it doesn't. My vote would be for Skankor, but I just can't articulate well enough how important stimulus has been, not just to me, but I feel like to the extension of what Shacknews is this year.
Yeah, and like, you know, gotta give props to Asif here too. It's not like every CEO out there says, "Oh man, we're in a pandemic. I'm gonna throw money at people that don't even work for me." You know?
Yeah, like nobody
Like,
does that.
Yeah, like that's a fucking rad thing to do. And I really, and like I said earlier, like I sincerely feel like it's been the most important thing I've been doing in the pandemic, because like it's just facilitating goodwill. You know, like I wouldn't have. I've now literally spent a month of my life doing the stimulus games, like taking Saturdays and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. I think supporting people like your community and people in general right now is such a big thing. And if you have the ways and means to do that, you know, you should. So that's I don't know, that's to me like a lot of what it means to be a part of a community and to help that community has been represented and expressed through the stimulus games. So
even when I wasn't co-hosting, I have and will continue to like watch the stimulus games even when I'm not a part of it, because like I wholeheartedly believe in everything it stands for. It's a beautiful thing to me, you know, in a tough time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to give it its fair shake there.
You know,
really quickly.
It's one of those things where March just sucked, right?
Yeah.
Everything that we had planned this year came crashing down around us. And we could have easily just said, okay, we'll do nothing. You know? No one would have noticed.
Yeah, I miss Saturday. I really do miss Saturday. Like,
no one would have noticed. Like, if we decided, you know what, we're gonna pocket whatever we would have spent on events this year and just forget it. But we didn't do that, and I think like that's important. But I at my core, like, we've always been very focused on charitable efforts at Shacknews. You know, like we did that thing with Play It Forward earlier this year, the IGDA Foundation. We're about to do a live stream series for Extra Life. I view the stimulus games as an extension of that charity, but it's not like, okay, in fact, some of the Bizarre Wolverines games, instead of playing for gift cards, you were playing for donations to charities. We raised money for Black Lives Matters, the ALS Foundation, Hawaii Food Bank,
People's Breakfast,
Rain, People's Breakfast, all sorts of things. And I think viewers loved that because I empowered them to get to donate money. You know, like maybe they couldn't, maybe they don't have the money themselves to donate, but by watching a stupid game and winning a trivia contest or guessing my final score right, they were able to create something good in the world. And I think that that's what the stimulus games were about. It was like not allowing the negativity of the shutdowns and the pandemic to stop us from doing what we do. And I think those early stimulus games really did provide a needed distraction for people at a time where there weren't sports. There wasn't much on TV other than coverage of the news.
I think that distraction's still needed, honestly. I feel like it hasn't gone away just because, like, sports seasons have started.
No, it hasn't. But, like, I think at the time there literally wasn't a whole lot to do. And it was needed. And it was a surprise.
It's a symbol to me that when the pandemic hit, a lot of businesses and people as well, but a lot of businesses chose to survive. And that was their goal. Let's survive. And some of them surviving meant cutting salaries or cutting people or whatever. And the stimulus games was choosing to thrive, not to survive. Like, fuck you to COVID. We are going to push forward and we are going to inject positivity no matter what you throw at us. We're not just going to hunker down and wait it out. We are going to push it out of the way and we are going to move forward. And that's kind of like the symbol of stimulus to me, is that choice of like not just surviving but thriving.
And the core of it, the genesis of the stimulus games was that, like, look, we had contracts in place, everything, for a huge year of live production. And 4 individuals on our team, Clay, Bill, Alex, and Nevin, were adversely affected. And I was like, this sucks. What can I do to create work for them? You know? And like, it's not the same amount that it would have been, but at least we did something. And like, you add up the money we've given to them as individuals, or if you look at the money we've given to the Nerdcore folks as individuals, it's more than the federal government's given to these people.
Including the staff, like our own Shack News staff.
Yeah.
We didn't get shit from the government.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
like, my spouse has been rocking a iPhone 6 with a battery that lasts all of like 30 minutes if you continue to use it. So like, stimulus games helped us change that this year, and I can't thank it enough.
Nice. But I guess we should vote now, right?
Oh wait,
well,
I'm gonna say. Oh, go ahead, Ozzy.
No, yeah.
Well, I really quick. I know I'm ultimately going to vote for Scankor, but I did want to recognize that I do feel a certain sense of pride when members of our chatty community go on and do greater things. Like, I felt a great sense of pride when Eonix shipped out Astroneer a couple years ago. So when I went to a meeting for Grounded for the first time, and I was told that Adam Brennicky, who posted on Chatty as Jabby, and when I was told that this would be his first project as game director, I felt a swell of pride.
Yeah.
And you know what? When these Shackers go on and live out their dreams and, you know, can share what they do with the rest of the chatty community, you know what? That gives me that hits me right here. So,
And having him come back and like on launch day and stream with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't forget where they came from.
No.
And I always appreciate that. So,
absolutely. No.
special shout out to those Shackers that are living their dreams and doing it for Shack News.
Absolutely. And there's so many damn talented people in our community that when you see Mark Rebier is a perfect example of that, Ozzy.
Yes.
And you see how he has blown up even this year. Talk about us calling our shot. You know, like, we gave him the award last year because we're like, damn, look at Mark. Now look at Mark. You know? You look at Panic Button when we gave him the award. Look at them now. It's like no big deal that they're landing the Doom Eternal port. You know, like, it was a big deal when they were porting Rocket League and Doom in the same year. That was a big deal for them. And studios like that, they don't get much recognition because they're port houses, essentially. They don't make a lot of stuff. But yeah, this award is for people who wouldn't otherwise get an award. And I think because Grounded is an early access, right? There's not a whole lot of awards that it's going to be up for this year. But yeah, absolutely, Jabby has been awesome. And I really enjoyed chatting with him at events. You know, they came to the E3 booth in 2018, and you know, we did our interview there. It's crazy to see. There's this mutually beneficial relationships between Shackers and the Shack, where like we want to promote you because we're proud of what you're doing, and you want to promote us because you're proud of what we're doing. And it's just, as we grow together in age, it's just been amazing to see that continue.
Yeah. Speaking of proud of what we're doing, really quick, I'm going to go through my list here, and I'm also going to shout out the entire Shack News staff really quickly. Because, like, you know, we do it for Shack News all the time. We do it every year, baby. But this year was a very adverse year for everybody involved, you know, and I felt like everybody really stepped up. You know, Steve, you've been doing a fantastic job with the Steve Tendo show.
Thank you.
And, like, we're seeing results immediately from that. Donovan, you're like an official member of the staff now. You've taken on like every assignment that I've thrown at you, and you haven't said shit.
How many
No.
evil companies
Yeah.
would have gone back on the promise to Donovan? Let's just be
Right?
honest. Donovan,
Yeah.
you graduated during a pandemic,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah, I
had a
would've been
job
hosed.
waiting for you. You're the luckiest
Yeah,
man on earth.
All
I
right.
certainly would have been hosed.
TJ, man, what a treat it's been working with you, dude, doing like the dump and you know, the stimulus games, and you know, you hit the ground running, and like you volunteer for so much stuff, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, are we gonna break this man? But no, he hasn't broken. Bill Lavoie, you're my rock, you're my island. Like, it's you know, I can't. I talk to you every single day, basically. So I don't even have to say anything, because you know what it is in my heart of hearts that I feel about you, Bill. You're muted if you're trying to say something.
I was muted. I said big Canadian hug to you.
Aw, thanks. The Canadian hugs are the best because they're
I think they're
authentic.
exactly the same, but you can have one anyway.
All right. And Greg Burke, Jesus, man. Like, how many, like, all the video stuff, like, you're nonstop. Like, you're just a factory.
I wish
of
people
editing.
could see Greg and I editing the direct. What Greg did, I already appreciated you, Greg, for what you do, but like how little time I gave you to turn that around. Unbelievable work.
Yeah, no, Greg is, you're a super badass. You probably already know that already. So,
He's trying to kill
and
me.
I don't
but
want to
it's not
feed
gonna
your,
work.
and I don't want to feed your ego too much, because I feel like we're just gonna have to hear a huge list of what you hate about Star Wars if I keep going on. David L. Craddock, you put out your most ambitious long read ever this year. Like, you went balls deep into Microsoft's history with the Xbox, and you came out with gold. You know,
Our
you let
first
me kick
ever
your-
interview with Phil Spencer.
right? You let me kick your butt at Street Fighter, and I intend to do it again. So
Thank
shout
you. I
out to
appreciate that.
Ozzy, man, like, I don't know, you just do your thing, man, and it's freaking solid. Like, I don't know, like,
I always appreciate this place, and I always appreciate that you guys were willing to let me jump back aboard once the Yahoo ship sank. So I'll
Yeah.
always have a place. Shack News will always have a place in my heart for that alone. But this has been my home for 10 years, and this was my 10. I didn't want to celebrate my 10-year anniversary under a pandemic, but it is what it is.
yeah. Well, here's to another 10 years. Even if you do look a bit sus today.
Yeah, I wonder why that would be.
Sam Chandler somehow finds time to get a bunch of Destiny 2 guides done despite having to constantly fight spiders. So you got to give him some credit there.
It is dangerous, mate.
Yeah, but you know, the fact that you're still here just speaks to like how strong and brave you are. No, and it's great working with you. Thank you for always indulging my questions about Australian vernacular.
Oh,
and
you're welcome,
slang.
mate. No walkers.
No wuckas indeed, homie. All right, Chris Gerard, man, like just the stuff that Chris went through just to get like the consoles reviewed this year was like above and beyond.
Yeah, we gave him a
Blake.
staggering amount of assignments, and he had a very short period of time to do it in.
Blake, just to cut in for a second, when I'm talking about guys that have graduated from the chatty to live out their dreams, Krabs the chatty poster,
Yeah.
and now he's one of us.
That's right. That is true. We started from the bottom. Now we're here.
He's a robot created by Awesome. I don't believe him for 1 second.
Have we
Artificial
ever seen?
intelligence.
Have we ever seen Ossip and Krabs in the same room at the same
No,
time?
you have not.
No.
You've seen us in the
Wait.
same Discord or TeamSpeak at the same time.
Yeah,
Easily
man.
fixed. Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
and then Josh isn't here, but
Josh
hopefully he
had to head
sees
out.
this. But Josh, man, like, wow. I don't know how. Like, just the other week, like, he blew through Godfall way quicker than I thought he was. I did not think we were gonna make embargo on that, but he just like grinded through the game like over a weekend somehow. But that's just one example of like how hard that guy works.
He's one of the hardest working
anything.
people I know. He started as an unpaid intern, like kind of like
Yeah.
Donovan, or kind of like Steve. You know, like there's
Yeah.
people who start on the site. I started that way in this industry.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, like it's the people who work hard that get to this point, then can stay in the game.
Yeah, and then there's you, Asif, and you're all right. You do okay, I guess. Kind of like having you around.
Kind of like
Sometimes.
a B minus year for the Shack
He's
News
like the
studio.
guy from Clerks that's not supposed to be here.
I'm literally on
Dante
medical
of
right
Shack
now.
News.
Yeah, Mr.
Day 2 of
Taking
me
Time
being
Off
on.
launches an entire extension of the Shack News website.
Yeah. Like
Working
here you
on-
are. Here you are on leave, like hosting the judges panels and
Yes.
like constantly posting the Cortex. And you just wanted to take on iPhone 12 phone review today.
I am gonna take an iPhone 12 review because I think I can review the thing.
I believe in you.
But yeah, I don't know. This year's really sucked.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Like this year, it's the hardest year I've ever had. As a in this industry, like I'm running Shack News. This year has been super difficult. It would have been impossible though without you folks. So I appreciate all of you for the work you've done. And yeah,
Yeah.
Blake, right back at you, buddy. The shit you've been doing this year. You know, launching the dump. You know, helping Greg and Donovan put together Pop Goes the Culture. Everything you've done with the stimulus games, the reviews. God, look at all the reviews we've done this year. You know,
It's
like
an insane amount. Like we're probably around 200 reviews for the year.
hell, talking about reviews, we're in the Final Fantasy Accolades trailer. You know, like these are like these used to, like, I remember a few years ago, if we were in any Accolades trailer, we're like, oh my god, now it's like, oh yeah, we're in another Accolades trailer. It's like not as big of a deal now, but it's still like, from a brand perspective, it's a really big deal, and from a reviews editor perspective, those are W's.
Oh yeah, no, it's good, man. I mean, I love being here. I love working with everybody. I'm just glad to be a part of it, and like, I don't know, like I feel like I might have mentioned this before. I've worked in a lot of places, and like I've been involved with a lot of people that have visions, but they don't necessarily have the ways and means or the wherewithal to actually go for it and really live it out. And like that's one of the things I love about being here at Shack News is like we fucking do it. Like we have cool ideas, we have opportunities, and we go for them. We don't back down, and I love being a part of it. And I believe I agree with you. I am fantastic, and I'm very good at what I do. And you're all very fortunate to have me, so you're welcome.
I hate to break it to you, you're not winning this award.
Damn it!
None of
Hosting
you
the
are.
dump with Blake.
Never gonna win.
The Shack staff never wins the Do It for
Hold
Shack
on,
News
hold on. I think TJ wants to say something nice about me. Go.
Hosting the dump every Friday with Blake has been an absolute pleasure. Doing the stimulus games every Saturday has been a pleasure. And then like, I don't know, like Indylicious, that's an idea I had in my back pocket for years, and like I didn't know if I'd ever be able to do that with a group. I thought that was something I might have to do on my own in my free time. And so being able to launch that this year was like, man, nobody had to give me that, but like it's really cool to be doing that every Monday for the passion I have for indie games and like the creatives and the risks they take. That's really been a highlight that's like helped me continue to feel good about this job every day.
You know, we're not afraid to take risks. Like, launching Cortex was a risk. Everything else we're doing on the dev side's a risk. Even earlier this year when we announced the Smash circuit, that was a risk. But yeah, we're not, I think because we're not beholden to some corporate overlord, we're willing to do things just because we want to do them. I think that's what makes us special.
Yeah. So let's give Skankcore this award.
Yeah, I mean, anyone voting for anyone other than Skankcore?
I think this is unanimous.
Nope. I just wanted
Pretty open and shut case.
I was gonna vote for the staff because like they've been like insane. Everyone has just been like Blake said, everyone's been doing an absolutely insane job nonstop. I've talked to Sam, TJ, Ozzy, Bill, Donovan, DJ. I've done video reviews for all of you, and you guys have been patient and got me video footage when I needed it or worked with me on it, and it's been like really nice to get that. Ozzy was a champ last night, recorded a bunch of stuff for me so I could get the review up today. He didn't have to. And that was what was that? Ozzy, like 10:30 at night.
Something like that.
You guys have been.
I keep late hours, especially for you, Greg.
You guys have been very helpful in that regard, and everyone's been killing it. And it's been so much work, and everyone's been doing it to the max. Everyone should change their name to Max Power. That's what this should be.
Okay, so outside of Greg,
I got it off a hairdryer.
Is everyone else voting for Skankcore?
Yeah, I just had my own anecdote to give. I didn't get to share one earlier when we were going around. When Greg and I started Pop Goes the Culture, Skankcore was like one of the first recognizable faces I saw in chat. And then a couple weeks ago, we had some technical difficulties, Greg, that you'll remember. We had to take the stream offline for about 15 to 20 minutes. And for that entire time, Skankcore was in chat talking to me and a couple other people in our offline Twitch chat while Greg got everything situated and we were back online. And that's just like, that's the kind of person you want in your community. So definitely do it for Shaq News Award.
Okay. So is that I have myself, I'm voting for Skankcore. Greg's voting for the staff.
I'll vote for Skankcore, yeah. I'll vote for Skankcore.
Oh, you're voting for Skankcore now?
Yeah.
Peer pressure.
Just to make it official.
And his absentee ballot is for Skankcore. He obviously began the nomination process with Skankcore. Josh had to run out. So that's it. Skankcore. You, sir, know how to do it for Shaq News. So hard that we're giving you the Do It for Shaq News Award for the year 2020. So congratulations, bud.
Well deserved, good sir.
You're here.
Kudos to you.
So we're starting over. It took me, like, my last stream was only like an hour and a half. I try to, go longer than that, but it took me like an hour and a half to get nowhere. I was not far in at all. I've been like testing my memory card situation out for the past few days, like speed running the beginning of this game, and yeah, I wasn't anywhere.